when you cannot say out loud intercontinental ballistic.
Okay, obviously.
Hi everyone, welcome to my video blog. It's gonna be about innovation, Ukraine with love. Today we're gonna talk about private space, rocket capital Dnipro, and the space challenges from Ukraine. Even though you might be not into space, you most probably went wow when you saw the launch of the Elon Musk Falcon Heavy. As Elon Musk went wow when he talked about Zenit rocket, calling it the best price and value in the market. Of course after his.
Yeah. That was like hardcore engineering.
Yeah.
Even though the space industry in Ukraine might be almost dead based on government funding, it's the private space that is in the rise, with Firefly challenging small and medium class launches.
Firefly is a new space company, and what that means is we're trying to dramatically lower the cost of entry to space. We are focusing on the small satellite industry, so we're trying to provide a solution for small to medium launch.
In Soviet times, fifth of the rockets and rocket carriers were designed and produced in Ukraine. All launched from 5 launch pads, the most famous Baikonur. In 1990s, Yuzhmash produced about 100 missiles a year, both for defense and civil usage, while Yuzhny Design Office was engaged in creating and launching into space over 400 spacecraft. Most famous names are probably Zenit, Cyclone, Satana, all of them constructed in the secret classified city of Dnipro in Ukraine. In certain aspects, Falcon 9 very much resembles Zenit, but Zenit was produced over 30 years ago. Both of them are two-stage kerosene LOX rockets that can put about 13 tons of LEO or 5 tons to GTO. 1 million inhabitant Dnipro was a home to over 40,000 engineers working for the space industry and for over 1,000 of students and engineers annually graduating from over 10 of universities. They were all working for the secret factory 586, only later named to be Yuzhmash. It was producing cars and tractors, but then again, how would you name a factory and explain it when you cannot say out loud intercontinental ballistic? After the collapse of Soviet Union, Ukrainian government almost stopped financing the space program, and as well it was stopped producing Musk's favorite rocket, Zenit. So the space industry collapsed, right? It was the beginning of the new space, private space, as well in Dnipro. Last year, the new law was adopted about the private space so that the private companies can participate in launching the rockets, creating a cosmodrome, producing parts of rocket, basically anything. And almost next day, the previously underdog private company Firefly contracted government agency Yuzhmash to produce rockets for them.
Another private aerospace company will build its own rockets right here on the Space Coast.
Firefly Aerospace. They're from Texas, and they become the latest private aerospace company to not only want to launch rockets from the Space Coast, but also build them.
Firefly is a company headquartered in US, Texas, but with about 100 engineers in Ukraine. Of course, in old space capital Dnipro, as well as the biggest 3D printer in Ukraine, printing out the parts of the rockets in Ukraine and shipping them to Austin to be used in alpha and soon to be launched beta. Over 6 years ago, it started with EOS, a company that was analyzing the satellite pictures. To analyze the pictures, what do you need? You need lots of pictures. What do you need for that? You need a satellite, as much a satellite as possible in real time. Well, and EOS built a satellite. Yes, but to have a satellite up, what do you need? You need a rocket. You need a rocket to launch these satellites. So it so happened that the founder of the Firefly and its venture company Northway Ventures, Max Polyakov, was from almost Dnipro, from Zaporozhye.
That's how we all get connected. That's how passions get together, how brains get together to solve out the problem of the Earth.
100 kilometers from Dnipro, and he decided to buy a Firefly, an almost bankrupt company, and Elon Musk just didn't make it.
Okay, obviously.
Firefly is developing Alpha, a small satellite launcher to be launched this year and later beta, and soon it will be decided if the Firefly will have a contract among 14 components from NASA to deliver experiments to the moon.
Firefly is not just a launch company, we actually operate spacecraft as well. And so, for example, we're looking forward to partnering with NASA in its return to the moon in as early as 2021.
Genesis lander, developed together with Israeli and Aerospace, can deliver up to 85 kilograms of payload on a lunar surface, even exceeding NASA's expectation. Firefly Alpha rocket will be able to hold 630 kilograms up to 500 kilometers on sun-synchronous orbit. And the face of the government backspace, well, up to be decided yet. But I'm sure that Ukraine is back in the map of space.